At the start of the semester, I didn't have the vocabulary to describe it as such, but I likely viewed curriculum as a combination of curriculum as syllabus and curriculum as product, and I imagined it played out in the classroom similar to Shiro's social efficiency ideology. How do I see curriculum now? Now I understand curriculum to be the accumulation of idea, experience, and the document itself. Curriculum is the combination of everything I've learned in this class. It's written, hidden, null, and lived.
Throughout the class, I've learned a lot about many different ideologies, frameworks, and theories that have changed my perspective on curriculum and how they look in the classroom.
There are definitely frameworks and ideologies I will align with more than others regarding curriculum and pedagogy in my future classrooms. But in my own personal pedagogical philosophy, I pull bits and pieces from every framework and ideology we've discussed in this class.
There aren't many ways in which my current understanding of curriculum and pedagogy are similar to when the semester started, but one way I can say that it has stayed the same is how important to me that any student can walk into my class and receive a good education. It's always been very important to me that my pedagogy is adaptable and inclusive for all students.
What I see as my main role as an educator is to educate. I want my students to leave my class having actually learned something, and I don't want them to memorize a bunch of definitions and words that they're just going to forget the second the final is over. As a secondary education student, I plan on teaching high school, and it's really important to me to try to teach these students something that will help them as they transition into their adult lives, as well as the designated outcomes and indicators, of course.
What do I want to teach them exactly, other than the outcomes and indicators?
Kindness and empathy, critical thinking, media literacy, and as a health major, I would really like to teach them some practical skills, such as how to find recipes that they like, or how to regulate their emotions, how to get involved with healthy social activities as an adult, like recreational sports. Regarding how I see curriculum, I now find myself aligning with Shiro's learner-centered ideology and social reconstructionist ideology, as well as Smith's curriculum as praxis and curriculum as process. For example, like many student teachers, we leave university wanting to make the world a better place and teach students to be productive and to be good-hearted and to also want to make the world a better place. This explains my alignment with Shiro's social reconstructionist ideology and Smith's curriculum as praxis. Like I said before, I see myself developing a very inclusive and equitable classroom, which really explains my alignment with Shiro's learner-centered ideology. How does this play out pedagogically? I want students to focus less on the grade and more about doing their best, or trying new ideas, or getting creative in ways they might be nervous about in other classes. I want my future classrooms to be taught through a constructivist lens and to be more discussion-based than lecture-based. Lastly, I want my students to be thinking critically about themselves and the world around them. I want them to be thinking about big questions around social justice or how to fight oppression. One moment that comes to mind when reflecting on moments of cognitive dissonance that I've experienced throughout the course was when I was answering the fourth journal prompt. In my head, I thought I was already fighting oppression, but after reading Chapter 7 of Kumishiro's Against Common Sense, I realized that I can actually be quite ignorant and unaware of oppression and how it affects many people day to day. This made me really uncomfortable because social justice is really important to me, something that I've thought about incorporating into my classrooms in so many different circumstances. The question that arose from this was, what if I'm not aware myself? How can I teach students to be aware? Kumishiro's chapter in Against Common Sense was really eye-opening to me and has definitely changed the way I think about social justice, current events, and my own pedagogical approaches in teaching about the fight against oppression. Another moment when I experienced cognitive dissonance is similar to the previous. I will admit that at the start of the semester, in seminar, when we were talking about Banks' approaches to multicultural reform, there was a discussion about when we're including and celebrating holidays that students in our class celebrate, that maybe we should not include or celebrate very common and widely practiced holidays in Canada, such as Christmas. I think one of the first things that came to mind was, I thought we were trying to make classrooms fair. Then the more I read about social justice and teaching against oppression, the more I started to realize that it's actually not about fairness or equality. It's about equity. And it's important to teach students about equity and its role in fighting oppression.